Once a cheater, always a cheater. Cliché? Nope, more like a law of nature, like gravity, like death and taxes. And yet there are fools out there, poor, pathetic, love-drunk idiots, who convince themselves that their cheater is somehow different, that their particular snake won't bite twice. I'm one of those idiots. My name is James Monroe. I'm 32 years old. I live in a 3-bedroom colonial in Westbrook, Connecticut, about 20 minutes from New Haven. I drive a Honda Accord with 87,000 miles on it. I make a mean beef stroganoff. And I've been married to a woman who treats our wedding vows like suggestions rather than promises. The cheater in my world? Linda Monroe, my wife, the mother of my daughter. This is the 3rd time I've caught her. 3 strikes, you're out. Even someone who doesn't give a damn about baseball knows that rule. I'm sitting at our kitchen island right now, 6:47 a.m. on a Tuesday morning in late October. The coffee maker is doing its thing, that gurgling, spitting sound that used to annoy me but now feels like the only honest conversation in this house. Outside, the maple trees lining Oakwood Drive are putting on their annual show. Reds and oranges and yellows like the whole street is on fire. Beautiful, really. The kind of morning that makes you think life is good. Life is not good. Linda's upstairs getting ready for work. I can hear the shower running, the muffled sound of whatever podcast she's been obsessed with lately. Something about manifestation and positive energy. The irony isn't lost on me. Let me tell you about my wife. Linda Monroe, née Patterson, is 31 years old, 5'6". Honey blonde hair that she gets touched up every 6 weeks at some salon in Greenwich that charges more per visit than my car payment. She's got these green eyes that photographers call striking, and that I used to call the reason I believe in God. She's beautiful. I mean, genuinely, stop traffic, make other men hate me beautiful. She's also smart. Graduated summa cum laude from Boston College with a marketing degree. Climbed her way up to director of marketing at Lumiere Cosmetics. That's one of those fancy skincare companies where a jar of face cream costs more than a nice dinner. She makes $180,000 a year, drives a white BMW X5, gets her nails done every 2 weeks, her eyebrows threaded, her teeth whitened. From the outside, Linda Monroe has it all. From the inside, Linda Monroe has a rotating collection of men who aren't her husband. Here's the thing about Linda that took me way too long to figure out. She needs to be wanted, not loved, wanted. There's a difference. Love is comfortable. Love is Tuesday nights on the couch watching Jeopardy. Love is knowing someone's coffee order without asking. Linda doesn't want comfortable. Linda wants the chase. The thrill, the feeling of being pursued, desired, conquered. And me? After 7 years together, 4 dating, 3 married, I'm about as thrilling as a bowl of oatmeal. The first time she cheated, it was with her old boss, Richard something. I don't remember his last name because I've trained my brain to delete it. This was 2 years ago, right after Sarah was born. Linda had gone back to work after maternity leave, and there was this conference in Chicago. A marketing summit, she said. Very important. Couldn't miss it. She came home smelling like someone else's cologne. I'm not stupid. I know what my wife smells like. I know what our bedroom smells like. And when she walked through that door, she smelled like sandalwood and whiskey and guilt. She confessed before I even had to ask, broke down crying in our living room, mascara running down her cheeks like something out of a bad movie. It was a mistake, she sobbed. I was weak. He kept pursuing me and I was tired and I'd had too much wine and what? I'd asked. And you tripped and fell onto his dick. She didn't appreciate that, but she apologized. God, did she apologize. She bought me a watch, a nice one, a Tag Heuer that I never wear because every time I look at it, I think about why she bought it. She promised it would never happen again. She looked me in the eyes and swore on our daughter's life that she would never, ever stray again. Sarah was 4 months old at the time. I was home with her every day, changing diapers and warming bottles and losing my mind from sleep deprivation. I'd given up my job at Morrison Financial, a decent analyst position with a clear path to management, because Linda made more money and someone had to stay home with the baby and traditional gender roles be damned. We were a modern couple. I forgave her. I know. But I had a 4-month-old daughter and a wife who seemed genuinely remorseful and a mortgage and no income of my own. And what was I supposed to do? The second time was 8 months later. Derek or Daniel or David, some D name from her company's sales team. I found the text on her regular phone because apparently Linda's not as smart as her degree suggests. Heart emojis and eggplant emojis and messages like, "I can't stop thinking about last night, and when can I see you again?" This time she didn't cry, she got defensive. "You went through my phone? You're cheating on me? It didn't mean anything." "Oh, well, that makes it so much better." We screamed at each other for 3 hours while Sarah napped upstairs, blissfully unaware that her parents' marriage was disintegrating. Linda eventually broke, fell to her knees, literally on our kitchen floor, the same floor I'm looking at right now, and begged me to forgive her. "I have a problem," she admitted. "I need help. I'll go to therapy. I'll do whatever it takes." She went to therapy. 3 sessions. Then she got too busy with work, and I forgave her again. Why? Because I'm an idiot, because I loved her. Because Sarah was barely a year old and I couldn't imagine breaking up our family. Because I had no money, no job, no leverage. Because I wanted to believe people could change. Here's what I've learned since then: people don't change. They just get better at hiding who they really are. It's been over a year since the second incident. Sarah's almost 3 now. This beautiful, hilarious little tornado of a human who has her mother's eyes, and I pray to God, her father's moral compass. I've been staying home with her, playing the good house husband, while Linda climbs the corporate ladder and attends networking events and client dinners and all the other euphemisms for opportunities to cheat. But I'm not the same naive idiot I was 2 years ago. 6 months after the second affair, I started planning. Quietly, carefully. Like a prisoner digging an escape tunnel with a spoon. I called my old boss at Morrison Financial. Dave Morrison, good guy, understood why I'd left, said the door was always open. We worked out a deal. I'd enroll in the executive MBA program at Yale, evening classes, Tuesday and Thursday nights, and participate in some remote consulting projects for the firm. Low pay, but it kept my foot in the door and my skills sharp. When I graduate in about 10 months, there's a senior analyst position waiting for me. $95,000 to start, with a clear path to director within 3 years. Linda doesn't know about any of this. As far as she's concerned, I'm just taking some business classes to stay sharp. She doesn't ask questions. She doesn't care what I do as long as I don't get in her way. That's the thing about Linda. She's so focused on her own life, her own needs, her own conquests, that she's completely blind to what's happening right in front of her. She thinks I'm an idiot. A loyal, lovable, controllable idiot who will always be here, waiting with dinner on the table and a forgiving heart. She's about to find out how wrong she is. The shower shuts off upstairs. I hear the bathroom door open, Linda's footsteps padding across the bedroom. In about 20 minutes, she'll come downstairs in one of her power outfits, probably that navy Armani blazer she loves, kiss me on the cheek, say goodbye to Sarah, and head off to another day of climbing and conquering. And I'll smile and wave and play my part. Because here's the thing about war: the side that strikes first doesn't always win. Sometimes the side that waits, that plans, that bides its time, that's the side that comes out on top. Linda thinks she's the smart one in this marriage. Linda also thinks bronzer counts as a personality trait. I finish my coffee and rinse the mug in the sink. Through the kitchen window, I can see the Hendersons across the street loading their kids into their minivan. Normal people living normal lives. That used to be us. Or at least I thought it was us. My phone buzzes on the counter. A text from my MBA study group about tonight's class. Another buzz, a reminder that Sarah has a checkup at Dr. Patel's office tomorrow morning. The mundane details of a life that's about to explode. I hear Linda's heels on the stairs. Click, click, click. The sound of a woman who thinks she has everything under control. She rounds the corner into the kitchen, and there she is. My wife, the mother of my child, the woman I once loved more than anything in this world. She's wearing the navy Armani blazer. I was right about that, at least. "Morning," she says, barely glancing at me as she grabs her travel mug from the cabinet. "I've got a late meeting tonight. Client dinner, don't wait up." "Client dinner, sure." "What client?" I ask, keeping my voice casual. "New account, some tech company, boring stuff." She pours coffee into her mug, adds a splash of oat milk. "How's Sarah?" "Still sleeping. She was up twice last night." Poor thing. But she's already looking at her phone, scrolling through emails, not really listening. "I should go. Traffic's going to be a nightmare." She walks over, presses a quick kiss to my cheek. Her lips are cold from the coffee. Her perfume, some designer thing that costs $300 a bottle, fills my nostrils. Have a good day, I say. You too. And she's gone. The garage door rumbles open, then closed. The BMW's engine purrs to life, and then silence. I stand in my kitchen alone, surrounded by the wreckage of a marriage I used to believe in. 3 strikes. But here's the thing they don't tell you about baseball. The game doesn't end when someone strikes out. The game keeps going. New innings, new at-bats, new chances to change the score. Linda thinks she's winning this game. She doesn't even know we're playing. I pull out my phone and open the calendar app. 10 months until graduation. 10 months until I have a job and income leverage. 10 months until I can walk away from this marriage without losing everything. 10 months is a long time, but I've waited this long. I can wait a little longer. The sun is fully up now, painting the kitchen in golden light. Upstairs, I hear Sarah starting to stir, little feet padding around her room, the sound of her talking to her stuffed animals. I take a deep breath, plaster on my smile, walk upstairs to start another day. "Good morning, sweetheart," I say, opening Sarah's door. She's standing in her crib, brown curls wild from sleep, grinning at me with those perfect little teeth. "Daddy," she squeals, reaching for me. I pick her up, hold her close, breathe in that baby shampoo smell that still clings to her hair. This is what I'm fighting for, not the marriage, not Linda, not some fantasy of happily ever after, just this, my daughter, our future. Linda can have her affairs, her conquests, her desperate need to be wanted by anyone with a pulse. I'll have my daughter, my dignity, my revenge. And when the time comes, when all the pieces are in place and the trap is set, I'll have everything. 3 strikes, Linda, you're out. 14 months later. It's a Wednesday morning in late November, and Westbrook, Connecticut is doing its best impression of a Thomas Kincaid painting. Light snow falling. Christmas lights already up on half the houses on our street. The Hendersons went full Griswold with their display, inflatable Santa, and everything. The air smells like wood smoke and that particular brand of cold that makes your nose hairs freeze. I'm in the kitchen again, story of my life, making scrambled eggs for Sarah while she sits in her booster seat, methodically destroying a banana. She's 3 now. 3 years, 2 months, and 6 days to be exact. She's got a full vocabulary, strong opinions about everything from dinosaurs to the color of her sippy cup, and the ability to ask why approximately 4,000 times per day. She's also my favorite person on the planet. "Daddy, why is snow cold?" "Because it's frozen water, sweetheart." "Why is water frozen?" "Because it's very cold outside." "Why is it cold outside?" "Because it's winter." "Why is it winter?" I slide the eggs onto her plate and kiss the top of her head. "Eat your breakfast, little philosopher." Linda breezes into the kitchen, already dressed for work. Today it's a charcoal power suit with a silk blouse underneath. Her hair is blown out, her makeup flawless. She looks like she's about to close a deal or break a heart, probably both. "Morning," she says, grabbing her coffee. "I've got a late dinner tonight. Client thing, might not be home until 10 or 11. Another client dinner. 3rd one this month, but I've learned not to react, not to question, not to show any cards. "Sounds important," I say neutrally. "It is." She takes a sip of coffee, eyes on her phone. Then, almost as an afterthought, "Oh, hey, what's the name and address of Sarah's daycare again?" I freeze just for a second, just long enough to feel my heart skip. Sarah's been going to Barnett's daycare for over a year, every Tuesday and Thursday while I'm at my MBA classes. Linda has never once asked about it, never picked Sarah up, never dropped her off, never showed the slightest interest. And now, suddenly, she needs the address. "Barnett's," I say, keeping my voice steady. 13,129 145th Street. "Why?" "Just realized I should probably know that." "You know, in case of emergency." She waves her hand dismissively, still not looking up from her phone. Bullshit. Total, complete, grade A bullshit, but I smile. "Good thinking, it's right off Route 1 near that new Starbucks." "Got it." She finally looks up, gives me one of those plastic smiles that used to make my heart race and now just makes my stomach turn. I should go. "Kiss Sarah goodbye for me." And she's gone. Click, click, click down the hallway, garage door, BMW, silence. I stand at the kitchen counter, mind racing. Why would Linda need Sarah's daycare address? She's never once in 14 months asked about it, never cared, and now out of nowhere it's suddenly important. There's only one explanation that makes sense. She's not asking for herself. She's asking for someone else. Someone who might have kids of their own. Someone who needs a daycare recommendation. Someone she's close enough to that they're sharing this kind of information. I move without thinking. Down the hallway, up the stairs, into our bedroom. Linda's in a rush this morning. Her closet door is open, clothes scattered on the bed, that chaotic energy she gets when she's running late. I scan the room. Dresser, nightstand, bathroom counter, nothing unusual. But then I notice her winter coat hanging on the back of the door, the navy peacoat she hasn't worn yet this season. I reach into the inside pocket, and there it is, a phone. Not her regular iPhone in the rose gold case. This one has a green case, cheap, prepaid looking, a second phone. My hands are shaking as I hold it. The implications crash over me like a wave. A burner phone, a secret phone, the kind of phone you have when you're living a double life. I press the power button. The screen lights up. Password protected. I try her regular passcode, the one she uses for everything, our anniversary backwards. 821, it works. Of course it does. Linda's many things, but tech-savvy isn't one of them. She probably uses the same password for her bank accounts, her email, her secret affair phone. The woman's got the security awareness of a golden retriever. The home screen appears. Not many apps, just the basics, messages. Phone, camera, I tap on messages, and there it is, the proof I didn't want but absolutely expected. 2 conversation threads. The first one is with someone saved as M. I tap it open and start scrolling. Can't stop thinking about you. Last night was incredible. When can I see you again? I'm leaving him, I promise. We just need more time. I love you, only you. My vision blurs. Not from tears, I'm past tears at this point. More like rage, pure white-hot rage that makes everything else fade away. She's leaving me. She loves him. After everything, after the promises, the therapy, the begging on her knees, she's doing it again. But wait, there's more. I scroll up through the conversation with M. They're talking about the future. Marriage, combining their lives. He's apparently got kids too. They're discussing how to merge families, how to handle custody arrangements. My wife suspects something. She's been asking questions. Don't worry, my husband is clueless. He has no idea. I have to stop reading, take a breath, remind myself that murder is illegal and I have a daughter who needs me. Then I tap on the second conversation thread. This one is with someone saved as D. The tone is different, less romantic, more transactional. Miss you, beautiful. When can I serve you again? Not now, I'll let you know when I'm available. Whatever you need, I'm yours to command. Good boy. What the hell? I keep scrolling. The messages paint a picture I wasn't expecting. This D person is younger, references to his apartment downtown, his job as a personal trainer, his eagerness to please. And Linda. Linda is different with him, commanding, dominant. The complete opposite of whatever she is with M. She's got 2 affairs going on simultaneously. 2. One where she plays the submissive, eager-to-please mistress. One where she's the one in control. 2 completely different personas. 2 men who think they're the only one. And me, the idiot husband at home, making scrambled eggs and changing diapers. Daddy, Daddy? Sarah's voice snaps me back to reality. I'm still standing in the bedroom, holding Linda's secret phone, heart pounding like I've just run a marathon. Coming, sweetheart. I quickly return the phone to the coat pocket, exactly where I found it. Make a mental note, green case, inside pocket, navy peacoat. I'll be back. The rest of the morning passes in a blur. I take Sarah to the park. She loves the swings, could swing for hours if I let her, and I push her while my mind churns through possibilities. M has kids. M knows about daycare. Linda asked about daycare this morning, which means M needed that information. M is looking for a place to send his kids, and if I can figure out who M is, my phone rings. The landline, technically, we still have one because Linda insists it looks professional when she gives out the number for work. The caller ID shows BARNETTKATHY, Kathy Barnett, the woman who runs Sarah's daycare. I answered, trying to sound normal. Hello, James, I'm so glad I caught you. Kathy's voice is warm, enthusiastic. She's in her 50s, used to be a child psychologist, now runs the best daycare in the county out of her renovated farmhouse. I wanted to thank you personally for the referral. Referral? I didn't refer anyone. Of course, I say carefully. Happy to help. 2 new children from such a prestigious family. I couldn't believe it when the call came through. I mean Elena Ward, the Elena Ward, sending her kids to MY daycare. I'm still pinching myself. Elena Ward. The name hits me like a thunderbolt. Elena Ward is a writer, a famous writer. Her third novel, Fiction to Fortune, came out about 6 months ago and shot straight to #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. Some kind of financial thriller. I've seen it everywhere, even considered reading it. Her face has been on magazine covers, talk shows, those 10 authors to watch lists. Elena Ward is married to? Who? I rack my brain trying to remember the celebrity gossip I usually ignore. Marcus Ward, that's it. Some VP at a tech company. I remember seeing a profile piece about them, the power couple, the working mom and stay-at-home dad. Wait, stay-at-home dad, needs daycare, got referred by someone connected to Linda. James, are you still there? Yes, sorry, lost you for a second. I'm pacing now, pieces clicking together. I actually don't know the Wards personally. My wife works with someone in their circle, I think. Oh, I assumed you knew them. Elena mentioned the referral came from your household. Her husband Marcus will be dropping off their kids next week, Ben and Andrea, 3 and almost 2, such sweet ages. Her husband Marcus Ward. My vision narrows to a single point. Everything else falls away, the playground sounds, Sarah's laughter, the cold November wind, and all that's left is this one crystalline thought. My wife is sleeping with Elena Ward's husband. And Elena Ward has no idea, or does she? James? Sorry, Kathy, spotty connection. Yes, the Wards, good people. Glad it worked out. I end the call and stand there, phone in hand, watching Sarah pump her little legs on the swing. Elena Ward, famous author, mother of 2, married to a man who's sleeping with my wife. She's in the same position I am, betrayed, oblivious, about to have her world destroyed. Or maybe she already knows. Maybe she's been sitting at home, just like me, waiting for the right moment to strike. There's only one way to find out. That night after Sarah's in bed, after Linda comes home reeking of wine and someone else's cologne, she's getting sloppy, or maybe she just doesn't care anymore, I wait. I wait until she's asleep, snoring softly beside me, her arm thrown across my chest like she's staking a claim. Then I slide out of bed, down the hall, to the coat closet. The green phone is right where I left it. I enter the passcode 0821, the anniversary that means nothing to her, and start reading. Everything. Every message between Linda and M, Marcus Ward. Every message between Linda and D, someone named Derek, apparently. I learn that Marcus and Linda have been seeing each other for 5 months, that they met at some corporate event in Manhattan. That Linda told him she's unhappy in her marriage, that her husband is boring and simple and doesn't understand her needs. Boring, simple. I also learn that Derek is 26 years old. Works as a personal trainer at that fancy gym Linda joined last year, and he likes to be controlled, commanded. Whatever Linda tells him to do, he does. She's got one man who makes her feel wanted, desired, pursued, and another who makes her feel powerful, in control, dominant. 2 different needs, 2 different men, and a husband at home who's supposedly too stupid to notice. I take screenshots of everything, upload them to my cloud drive, create a folder labeled Taxes 2024 because who's ever going to look there? Then I put the phone back. Return to bed, lie next to my cheating wife and stare at the ceiling. Elena Ward. I need to talk to Elena Ward tomorrow at the daycare. I'll find her, introduce myself, and tell her everything. And then we'll see what happens when 2 people who have been betrayed decide to fight back. I close my eyes, and for the first time in months, I fall asleep with a smile on my face. It was the best of times, it was the worst of times. Dickens wrote that. I've always loved that opening line, the way it captures how joy and misery can coexist, how triumph and disaster can be 2 sides of the same coin. That's my life right now. My name is Elena Ward. I'm 34 years old, and 6 months ago, I was a moderately successful novelist with 2 young children, a comfortable marriage, and a vague sense that something was missing. Today, I'm a New York Times best-selling author, a household name, a woman whose face appears on magazine covers and morning talk shows. I should be happy. I should be thrilled. Instead, I'm sitting in my car outside Barnett's daycare in Westbrook, Connecticut, gripping the steering wheel like it's the only thing keeping me tethered to reality. My third novel, Fiction to Fortune, changed everything. It's a financial thriller about a hedge fund manager who manipulates markets through fake news stories, topical, twisty, apparently irresistible to readers. The book has been on the bestseller list for 23 weeks. The movie rights sold for more money than I've made in my entire previous career. My first 2 novels, which barely made a ripple when they came out, are now selling thousands of copies a week. I'm rich. I'm famous. I'm successful beyond my wildest dreams, and my husband hasn't touched me in 2 months. That's the worst of times part. Marcus Ward, my husband of 6 years, father of my children, the man who used to look at me like I hung the moon, has become a stranger. He's distant, distracted, always on his phone, always working late, always finding excuses to be somewhere other than home. I used to be able to read him like one of my manuscripts. Now he's written in a language I don't understand. In the backseat, Ben and Andrea are playing some complicated game that involves stuffed animals and a lot of dramatic sound effects. Ben is 3, all energy and questions, and that particular brand of chaos that comes with toddlerhood. Andrea is almost 2, trailing after her brother like a tiny shadow, absorbing everything. They're why I'm here. At this daycare, in this town I'd never heard of 6 months ago, it was Marcus's idea, actually. He's been pushing for daycare for months. You need time to write, he said. The kids need socialization, it'll be good for everyone. What he didn't say, I need time away from this family, I need freedom. I need space to do whatever it is I'm doing when I'm not here. I know something's wrong. I've known for weeks, maybe months, but I've been so focused on the book, the publicity, the endless demands of sudden fame that I haven't had time to examine it closely. Or maybe I just didn't want to. Mommy, we're here, Ben announces, kicking the back of my seat. Can we go? Yes, baby, we're going. I unbuckle them both, gather the 17 bags of supplies that apparently accompany 2 small children everywhere they go, and herd them toward the entrance of Barnett's daycare. The place is nice. A converted farmhouse with a big backyard, cheerful murals on the walls, that particular smell of finger paint and graham crackers that all childcare facilities seem to share. Kathy Barnett, the owner, is wonderful, warm, professional, clearly good at her job. I drop off the kids, sign the necessary forms, make small talk about nap schedules and food allergies. Normal mom stuff. The kind of mundane rituals that used to bore me and now feel like anchors in a storm. I'm walking back to my car when I hear it. Elena Ward, I turn. A man is walking toward me across the parking lot. Tall, maybe 6'1", dark hair that could use a trim, wearing jeans and a flannel shirt like he just stepped out of an LL Bean catalog. There's something intense in his expression, something urgent. My first thought, fan. I've gotten used to being recognized lately, though it still feels strange. People approaching me in grocery stores, airports, coffee shops, wanting to tell me how much they loved my book, but this doesn't feel like that. Yes, I say, clutching my keys a little tighter. Can I help you? I'm James Monroe. He stops a few feet away, hands in his pockets. And I think we need to talk. James Monroe. The name sounds vaguely familiar, but I can't place it. I'm sorry, do I know you? No. He takes a breath, and I notice the tension in his jaw, the way his shoulders are set. This is a man carrying something heavy. But you know my wife, or rather your husband does. My stomach drops. I don't. Your husband Marcus is sleeping with my wife Linda. He says it flat, no emotion, like reading a weather report. They've been having an affair for about 5 months. They meet at hotels in Manhattan. They're talking about leaving us, getting married, blending their families. He pauses. I thought you should know. The parking lot tilts, or maybe I tilt. Either way, the world suddenly feels unstable, unreliable, like the ground might open up beneath me at any moment. That's not possible. It is possible, and it's happening. He pulls out his phone, swipes through something, turns the screen toward me. This is from my wife's phone, their conversation. I can show you the screenshots. I don't want to look. I don't want to see proof of what I already suspected deep down in that place where uncomfortable truths live. But I look. And there it is, text messages, hundreds of them. Pet names and romantic declarations and explicit descriptions of things I refuse to let my brain process. When can I see you again? I love you, only you. My wife suspects something. My husband is clueless. That last one hits different. My husband is clueless. That's what Marcus thinks of me. Clueless, oblivious, too stupid or too distracted to notice that my marriage is falling apart. My voice doesn't sound like mine. I suspected, I knew something was wrong, but I didn't. I never. Neither did I the first time. I look up at him. The first time, Linda's cheated before, twice. I forgave her both times because I'm an idiot who wanted to believe people could change. His laugh is bitter. They can't. She's got 2 affairs going right now, actually. My wife is nothing if not ambitious. 2 affairs. Marcus is one of 2. Somehow that makes it worse. This is a lot to process, I say, which is possibly the understatement of the century. I know, and I'm sorry to dump it on you like this, but I've been where you are, the not knowing, the suspecting, the lying to yourself. It's torture. You deserve the truth. He's right. I do deserve the truth, even if it feels like being hit by a truck. Why tell me? I ask. What do you want? I don't want anything, not from you. He puts his phone away. But I've been thinking about what happens next, about how to handle this without losing everything, my daughter, my house, my sanity. And I think our spouses expect us to react a certain way, to be devastated. To beg them to stay, to make it easy for them to walk away with everything while we're left picking up the pieces. He's looking at me now with something like hope, or maybe recognition, like he's seeing a fellow soldier across a battlefield. What if we didn't do that? He continues. What if we were smarter? What if we worked together? Work together how? I don't know yet. But I know this, Marcus and Linda think they're the clever ones. They think they're running the show, pulling all the strings. What if they're wrong? I should say no. I should walk away, call Marcus, confront him, do all the normal things a betrayed spouse is supposed to do. But here's the thing about being a writer. I understand narrative. I understand how stories work. And in every story I've ever written, the characters who react emotionally, who act on impulse, who let their enemies dictate the terms, those characters lose. The characters who win are the ones who plan, who strategize, who turn their disadvantage into advantage. Not here, I hear myself saying. We can't talk here. Then where? My mind races through options. I need somewhere private. Somewhere we can speak freely without worrying about being overheard or interrupted. My house, I say. Tomorrow, bring your daughter, the kids can play together. They're already going to be at the same daycare. They might as well know each other. James Monroe smiles for the first time since approaching me. It transforms his face, makes him look younger, less burdened. Handsome even in that rumpled, exhausted dad way. You're suggesting a playdate? I'm suggesting a planning session disguised as a playdate. I check my watch. I need to go. I've got a phone call with my publisher in an hour, and I need to figure out how to sound normal when I feel like screaming. I understand. I start walking toward my car, then stop, turn back. Mr. Monroe? James. James, I look him in the eye. Thank you for telling me. Most people would have just dealt with it on their own. Maybe, he shrugs, but something tells me we're going to need each other before this is over. As I drive home, hands steady on the wheel, even though everything inside me is shaking, I think about what just happened. My husband is having an affair. My marriage is a lie. Everything I thought I knew about my life is wrong. But I'm not going to cry. I'm not going to scream. I'm not going to do any of the things a clueless wife is supposed to do. I'm going to plan, because here's what Marcus doesn't understand. I write stories for a living. I create characters and plots and narrative arcs. I know how to build a villain, and I know how to bring them down. Marcus thinks he's the clever one in this marriage. He's about to find out how wrong he is. The Ward house is impressive. Not mansion impressive, we're not talking Kardashian levels here, but definitely best-selling author money impressive. A modern colonial on about 2 acres, set back from the road, surrounded by mature trees that are dropping the last of their autumn leaves. There's a Tesla in the driveway and one of those Ring doorbells that probably costs more than my entire security system. I pull up at 10 a.m., Sarah strapped into her car seat, babbling about something involving a dinosaur and a princess and the color purple. Her conversational logic is questionable, but her enthusiasm is undeniable. Where are we, Daddy? We're visiting some friends, sweetheart. What friends? New friends, you'll like them. Alina opens the door before I can ring the bell. She's dressed casually, jeans, a cream-colored sweater, hair pulled back in a ponytail, no makeup. She looks like she hasn't slept. Join the club. James, come in. She steps aside and I get my first look at the interior. Warm, that's my first impression. Lots of natural light, comfortable furniture, the kind of lived-in messiness that says, children live here rather than magazine photo shoot. There's a playroom visible off the main hallway, and I can hear the sounds of kids already active. Ben, Andrea, our guests are here. 2 small humans come charging around the corner. Ben is all chaotic energy, dark hair sticking up in 17 directions. Andrea trails behind, shyer, thumb hovering near her mouth. Sarah, this is Ben and Andrea. They go to the same school as you. Sarah perks up. She recognizes them. They've been in the same daycare class for a few weeks now. Within 30 seconds, the 3 of them have disappeared into the playroom. already negotiating some complicated game involving blocks and stuffed animals. "Coffee?" Alina asks. "God, yes." She leads me to a kitchen that's roughly the size of my entire first floor. Island with marble countertops, professional-grade appliances, a coffee maker that looks like it could pilot a spacecraft. She pours 2 cups from an already full pot. "I've been up since 4, she admits, handing me a mug. "Couldn't sleep, kept thinking about everything. Same, though my version involved lying next to my cheating wife and trying not to smother her with a pillow." Alina almost laughs, almost. "I've had similar thoughts." We move to the living room where we can see the playroom through an open doorway. The kids are deeply absorbed in their game, something involving trucks, dolls, and a stuffed bear that seems to be playing multiple roles. "We can't talk freely with them in earshot," Alina says quietly. "Kids pick up more than you'd think." "I noticed. Sarah dropped the word bastard at dinner last week." Linda was not pleased. "Where do you think she learned it?" 3 guesses, first 2 don't count. We settle into a system, speaking in coded language, neutral tones, keeping our voices low and our faces calm. If the kids glance over, they just see 2 adults having a boring conversation. "So," Alina begins, "let's talk about that movie we both watched, the one with Daniel and Wilma." I catch on immediately, Daniel for Derek, Wilma for, well, a variant of woman that starts with a different letter. "Interesting movie," I say. "The subplot with M was particularly compelling. The love story, if you want to call it that." Alina's jaw tightens slightly. "I do want to call it that because that's what they think it is." They're planning a future together, marriage, combined families, the whole package. "There's a complication," I say, keeping my voice light. "Wilma has another subplot with a younger character, someone who likes to be directed." Alina's eyebrows rise. "She has 2 parallel storylines?" "Apparently she's versatile, one where she's the pursuer, one where she's the pursued." "That's quite a character arc." Through the doorway, Ben suddenly shrieks with laughter. Sarah and Andrea are chasing him around the playroom, all 3 of them shrieking with the pure joy that only small children seem capable of. "This is hard," Alina says softly. "Watching them, so innocent, no idea that everything's about to change." "Maybe it doesn't have to." She looks at me sharply. "What do you mean?" "I've been thinking," I set down my coffee cup, "about what you said yesterday, about being smarter, about working together. And I think our movie characters have predictable personalities. Wilma, for instance, she has 2 consistent traits. First, she can't resist a new conquest, the thrill of the chase. And second, she becomes absolutely insane when she's the one being cheated on. I've seen it. Small things, if I even talk to an attractive woman, she gets jealous, projects her guilt onto me." Alina nods slowly. "Marcus is similar, not jealous exactly, but obsessed with his image, his reputation. He can't stand looking like a fool. So we have 2 people with fragile egos and predictable weaknesses." "And what do we do with that information?" I lean back in my chair, watching the kids play. "What if they destroyed each other? Meaning, what if Marcus found out about Derek? What if he discovered that the woman he's planning to marry is also sleeping with a 26-year-old personal trainer?" Alina's eyes widen, then narrow. "He would be displeased. More than displeased. His ego couldn't handle it. The man he's cuckolding is a stay-at-home dad, no threat to his masculinity, but a younger, fitter man, someone who represents everything Marcus fears about aging. That would shatter the fantasy." "Exactly." Alina is quiet for a moment. When she speaks again, her voice is different, harder, more focused. "I've been writing a new story," she says. "Just started it. About a husband who discovers his wife's affair and plans revenge." "What kind of revenge?" "The violent kind, very detailed, very realistic." I understand immediately. "You want Marcus to read it." "I want Marcus to become paranoid, to wonder if I suspect something, to start looking over his shoulder. And if he's paranoid, he'll share that paranoia with Linda. They'll feed each other's fears, maybe convince themselves they need protection." "Weapons," I say. "Potentially." We sit with that for a moment, the implications, the possibilities. "You know what I want," Alina says finally. "I want to keep my children. I want to come out of this with my reputation intact and my finances secure. And I want Marcus to get exactly what he deserves, which is nothing. No money, no custody, no sympathy." "Same," I say. "For me, it's Sarah. Everything else is secondary. I don't care about the house, the assets, any of it. I just want my daughter and my freedom. Then we need to be smart, patient. We need to let them make the mistakes." while we document everything. Exactly. Elena pulls out her phone. I've already started. Screenshots, timestamps, everything. I've got a lawyer on retainer, Liz Hanson. She's the best in the state for these kinds of cases. I'm impressed. I'm a planner. It's what writers do. She puts the phone away. But there's something else we need to consider. What? The end game. What happens when everything falls apart? When the secrets come out, where do you go? What do you do? I haven't thought that far ahead. My planning has been focused on the MBA, the job, the escape route. But she's right, there's an after to all of this. I don't know, I admit. Elena looks at me for a long moment, then she says something unexpected. You could come here. Here. After when it all happens, you and Sarah. This house has 5 bedrooms. The kids already get along. It would be less chaotic, less lonely. I don't know what to say. It's a generous offer, a practical one, and something about the way she's looking at me suggests it might be more than just practical. Let's get through the hard part first, I finally say. Then we can figure out the rest. She nods. Fair enough. The morning passes quickly. We talk strategy between moments of child wrangling. Elena explains her plan for the story she's writing, how she'll accidentally leave pages where Marcus can find them. I share what I've learned about Derek from Linda's phone, his routines, his preferences, his willingness to obey commands. By noon, the kids are tired and cranky, ready for naps. Elena sets them up in Ben's room, all 3 of them piled onto the kid-sized bed like puppies, asleep within minutes. I should go, I say, even though I don't want to. Probably. Elena walks me to the door. Same time Monday, we can compare notes, refine the plan. Monday works. I'm halfway out the door when she says, James, I turn. Thank you, she says, for finding me, for telling me. I know it would have been easier to just handle this yourself. Maybe, but something told me we'd be stronger together. She smiles, really smiles for the first time since I've met her. It changes her whole face, makes her look younger, brighter, almost hopeful. I think you might be right. I drive home in a daze, Sarah sleeping in the backseat, my mind churning through everything we discussed. We have a plan now. A real plan, not just survival strategy, counterattack. For the first time since I discovered Linda's affair, I feel something other than rage and despair. I feel hope. My phone buzzes, a text from Elena. Forgot to say, I actually have read your wife. The way she writes those text messages, all emotion, no logic, she's going to make a mistake eventually. They always do. I text back. When she does, we'll be ready. 3 dots appear, then, damn right we will. I pocket the phone and smile. Linda thinks she's won. Marcus thinks he's won. They have no idea what's coming. 1 month later, the cursor blinks at me like an accusation. Page 47 of Deadly Jealousy, the working title for my newest project. My agent thinks I'm writing another financial thriller. My publisher is expecting a sequel to Fiction to Fortune. They're both wrong. I'm writing a weapon. It's a gray December morning, the kind where the sky looks like dirty dishwater and the bare trees outside my office window seem to claw at the clouds. Ben and Andrea are at Barnett's daycare. Marcus is at work, which probably means he's sexting my eventual replacement from the parking lot of some hotel. And I'm here crafting the most important story I've ever written. The premise is simple. A husband discovers his wife is cheating. He's a writer, methodical, patient, creative. Instead of confronting her, he plans the perfect murder. Makes it look like a home invasion gone wrong. The story is told from the husband's perspective, and I've made him sympathetic, relatable. The kind of character readers root for even as he plots something terrible. The kind of character that might make a guilty conscience very, very nervous. I type another paragraph. David knew exactly where to strike. The carotid artery, one clean cut. He'd researched it extensively. The internet was a wonderful teacher for those willing to learn. His wife would never see it coming. After all, she thought he was oblivious. She thought he was too stupid, too trusting, too in love to notice the perfume that wasn't hers, the text she deleted, the way she said, working late, like it was a punchline to a joke only she understood. Good, unsettling. Exactly what I need. My phone buzzes. James. How's the manuscript coming? I smile and type back. Page 47, getting to the good stuff. Can't wait to read it. Playdate tomorrow. Kids are asking. Wouldn't miss it. I set the phone down and return to my work. 3 more hours until I have to pick up the kids. 3 more hours to pour poison onto the page. That evening, I leave the manuscript on my desk. Not hidden, not obvious, just there where anyone walking into my office might notice it. I hear Marcus's car in the driveway around 7, later than he said he'd be. Shocking, truly. Hey, he calls from the entryway. Something smells good. Lasagna, it's in the oven. He appears in the kitchen doorway, loosening his tie. He's handsome, I'll give him that. Dark hair, strong jaw, the kind of easy smile that probably works wonders on women who don't know he's a lying piece of garbage. How was your day? He asks, kissing my cheek. His lips are cold. Everything about him feels cold lately. Productive, got a lot of writing done. The new book, MMHMM. He pours himself a scotch, the good stuff, the Macallan 18 I bought for our anniversary. What's this one about? Murder, I say lightly. A husband who kills his cheating wife. The glass pauses halfway to his lips, just for a second, just long enough. That's dark. Dark cells, you know that. He takes a long sip. I didn't realize you were interested in that kind of story. Research. I shrug, pulling the lasagna from the oven. I've been reading a lot about forensics, crime scene analysis, how killers avoid detection. I set the dish on the counter and turn to face him. Did you know most murders are committed by someone the victim knows, usually a spouse or intimate partner? Marcus's smile is frozen now, plastic. Fascinating. The statistics are incredible. Crimes of passion, they call them. Someone gets pushed too far and I make a slicing motion across my throat. It's over before anyone realizes what's happening. Elena, his voice is strained. Why are you telling me this? Just sharing my day, honey. I hand him a plate. Dinner's ready. The next morning, I find him in my office. He claims he was looking for a stapler. The stapler is in the kitchen drawer where it's been for 3 years, but sure, the office makes total sense. Find what you needed? I ask from the doorway. He jumps, actually jumps, like a kid caught stealing cookies. Yes, stapler. He holds up the one from my desk, MY stapler, the one he supposedly wasn't looking for. Found it. Great. He brushes past me and I wait until I hear his footsteps on the stairs before I check my desk. The manuscript has been moved, pages slightly out of order, someone's been reading. Perfect. Monday's playdate is at my house. James arrives at 10, Sarah in tow, her little face lighting up when she sees Ben and Andrea. Friends. She shrieks and all 3 of them disappear into the playroom like a tiny hurricane. Coffee? I ask James. You're an angel. We settle into our usual spots, me on the love seat, him in the armchair, both of us positioned to see the playroom through the open doorway. The kids are building something with blocks, probably a tower, probably doomed to fall. Isn't everything? So, James says quietly, how's our movie going? I smile. We've gotten very good at this. Neutral tones, innocent words, deadly meanings. The main character read the script, I say. He seemed concerned. Concerned how? Jumpy, paranoid, asking questions he's never asked before. I take a sip of coffee. Last night he wanted to know if we had good locks on the doors. This morning he asked if I'd ever thought about getting a security system. James's eyes gleam. Interesting, Wilma's been having similar thoughts. Oh, she brought up buying a weapon, said the world is dangerous, we need to protect ourselves. He shakes his head. I suggested something non-lethal, less chance of accidents. Smart, what did she choose? Electric, pointed, easy to use. He mimes holding something in his hand, finger on a trigger. $400, laser sight. A taser. Linda bought a taser. That could be useful, I say slowly, in the right circumstances. My thoughts exactly. From the playroom, Ben's voice rises. Mine. Share with your sisters, I call out automatically. They're not my sisters, James and I exchange a look. In another world, that statement would be true. In this world, in the world we're building, they might be, James murmurs. Someday. I don't know what to say to that, so I change the subject. What else have you learned about Daniel? Daniel, Derek, the other man, the wild card in this whole mess. He's 26, works as a personal trainer at Fit Life Gym in Hartford. Apparently he has specific preferences. James pulls out his phone, shows me a screenshot. He likes to be controlled, commanded, whatever Wilma tells him to do, he does. I read the messages. They're explicit in a way that makes me uncomfortable, not the content itself, but the dynamic, the power imbalance. The way Derek writes like he's begging for approval. She's using him, I say. Completely. With M, she's the submissive one, desperate to be wanted. With D, she's in charge, dominating. James puts the phone away. 2 different women, 2 different needs. And neither of them satisfied by her actual husband. Nope, he laughs, but there's no humor in it. Lucky me. We sit in silence for a moment. Through the doorway, the kids have abandoned their tower and are now engaged in some complicated game involving stuffed animals and a toy truck. James, I say finally, what if something goes wrong? What do you mean? The plan, the movie. What if the characters don't react the way we expect? What if someone gets seriously hurt? He's quiet for a long moment. Then he reaches over and takes my hand. His palm is warm, solid, real. We're not making them do anything, he says. We're just setting the stage. They'll choose their own actions. They always have. But if, Alina, he squeezes my hand. These people have been hurting us for months, years in my case. They've lied and cheated and made us feel like we were the crazy ones. If they destroy themselves, that's on them, not us. I want to believe him, I do believe him, but there's still a part of me, the part that writes stories, that understands cause and effect, that knows we're playing with fire. Okay, I say, okay. He doesn't let go of my hand. That night Marcus comes home late again. He smells like wine and expensive perfume, Linda's perfume, I realize now. I've smelled it on him a dozen times and never knew what it was. Long day? I ask from the couch. He startles. Jesus, you scared me. Sorry, I was just reading. He looks at the book in my hands. It's not a book at all. It's a printout of my manuscript, the murder scene. Still working on that, he asks carefully. Almost done, want to read it? Maybe later. It's really good, Marcus. My best work yet. I set the pages aside and stand, walking toward him. The husband in the story, he's so patient, so methodical. He waits and waits, lets his wife think she's getting away with everything. And then when the moment is right, I'm close to him now, close enough to see the sweat on his upper lip, close enough to smell her on his skin. He strikes, I whisper. And she never sees it coming. Marcus swallows hard. Alina, is everything okay? You've been different lately. Different how? I don't know, intense, focused. He tries to laugh. Should I be worried? I smile, sweet, innocent, deadly. Why would you be worried, Marcus? You haven't done anything wrong. He doesn't answer. He doesn't sleep that night either. I hear him pacing the hallway at 3 a.m., checking the locks on the doors. Good, let him sweat. Friday evening, December 13th. Unlucky for some. I'm standing in my kitchen watching Linda perform the most elaborate deception of her career, pretending to be a loving wife. She's cooked dinner. I didn't even know she remembered where the oven was. There's a roast in there, actual meat, actual vegetables, the whole deal. 2 bottles of expensive red wine breathing on the counter. Candles. What's the occasion? I ask, keeping my voice neutral. Does there have to be an occasion? She's wearing a dress, a nice one, the kind she usually saves for client dinners. I just thought we could have a nice evening, just the 2 of us. Sarah's at Barnett's for a late pickup. Kathy agreed to keep her until 8. Linda doesn't know why. She doesn't ask. She never asks. Well, I say, this looks amazing. She beams. It's disturbing, really, how good she is at this. If I didn't know better, if I hadn't read the hundreds of messages between her and Marcus, between her and Derek, I might actually believe she loved me. But I do know better, and I don't believe a damn thing. We eat. We drink. She talks about work, about some new product launch, about office politics I couldn't care less about. I nod and smile and play my part. The clueless husband, the faithful fool. Halfway through the second bottle, she drops the bomb. James, I've been thinking. She sets down her glass, looks at me with those green eyes I used to love. We should buy a gun. I nearly choke on my wine, nearly, but I've been expecting this. Alina warned me it was coming. Marcus has been paranoid for weeks, and paranoia is contagious. A gun, I say. What for? Protection. The world's not safe anymore. You hear about home invasions all the time. In Westbrook. Our biggest crime wave was when someone stole the Henderson's garden gnome. I'm serious. She reaches across the table, takes my hand. Her fingers are cold. I want to feel safe. Don't you want me to feel safe? Oh, I want you to feel a lot of things. Safe isn't on the list. Linda, guns are dangerous. More people get hurt by their own weapons than by intruders. I know, but did you know, I say, leaning forward like I'm sharing a secret, that most women who buy guns for protection end up having those guns used against them. The attacker takes it away, turns it around, and then... I let the sentence hang. Linda's face goes pale, paler than usual anyway. I read this article, I continue, about a woman in Hartford. Bought a gun because she was scared of her ex-husband. He broke in one night, found the gun before she could get to it, and I shake my head sadly. They didn't find her for 3 days. James, but if you really want something for protection, there are other options. Tasers, for instance. They're effective, they're non-lethal, and they're much harder to turn against you. She's quiet for a moment, thinking. I can almost see the wheels turning. A taser, she says slowly. There's one with a laser sight, about $400, very high-rated. How do you know all this? I research things, I shrug. You know me, always reading. She buys it, of course she does. Linda has always underestimated me. It's her greatest weakness. Maybe you're right, she says finally. A taser might be safer. Just looking out for you. After dinner, she leads me upstairs. I know what's coming. I've been through this routine before, the guilt sex, the I'm sleeping with someone else but I'll pretend to love you sex. It's mechanical, hollow, like making love to a mannequin. I do what's expected. I play my part. And when she finally falls asleep, wine and guilt heavy on her breath, I get to work. The green phone is exactly where I left it. Linda's not smart enough to change hiding spots. She's not smart enough for a lot of things. I enter the passcode 0821, our anniversary, which is just. Ironic doesn't begin to cover it and starts scrolling. New messages from M, I'm scared. Alina's been writing this book about a husband who kills his cheating wife. She left pages on her desk. I think she wanted me to see them. That's crazy, she doesn't know anything. You don't know her like I do, she's a writer. She plans things. What if this is part of some plan? You're being paranoid. I'm being careful, and you should be too, your husband. Has he been acting strange? No, he's the same as always, clueless. My jaw tightens, clueless. Keep thinking that, sweetheart. I keep scrolling. What if they find out? What if they're working together? How would they even know each other? I don't know, but something feels wrong. I can feel it. You need to calm down. We're almost there. A few more months and we'll be together. Forever. I screenshot everything. Every paranoid message. Every confession, every plan they've made to destroy our families. Then I check the thread with D, miss you beautiful. When can I serve you again? Soon, I'll let you know. I'm yours, anything you want, just say the word. Linda hasn't responded to his last message. She's been too busy with Marcus, I suppose. Too busy planning her escape, but Derek's still waiting. Still eager, still ready to obey, that's going to be useful. I put the phone back, slide under the covers next to my sleeping wife and stare at the ceiling. 1 week, maybe less. And then this will all be over. I text Alina, ready when you are next Thursday. 3 dots appear then. Thursday works, I'll arrange childcare. It's a date. It's something. I smile in the darkness. Sleep comes easy. For the first time in months, I know exactly what I'm doing. And Linda, she has no idea what's coming. Monday, December 16th, 4 days until D-Day. The playdate feels different this time, heavier, like the air before a thunderstorm. James arrives at 10 with Sarah, same as always. The kids scatter to the playroom, same as always. We make coffee, sit in our usual spots, speak in our usual code, but nothing about this is usual, nothing about this is normal. Final review, James says quietly. Walk me through it. I set down my mug. Thursday evening, Marcus tells me he has a business trip, overnight conference in Boston. I pretend to believe him. Meanwhile, Linda thinks I'm at my MBA class until at least 9. Right. But you'll leave early. I'll leave at 8. Tell the professor I have a family emergency. He pulls out his phone, shows me a calendar. Linda has already made plans to meet Marcus at your house. I saw the messages. My house? I feel a flash of anger. They're using MY house? They think it's safer. You're supposedly out. The kids are in bed. No one will interrupt them. No one except the 3 people they've been lying to for months. Okay, I say, swallowing my rage. So they'll be at my house by 7. Marcus usually arrives early. He's eager. James's voice is flat. They'll have dinner, drink some wine, head upstairs around 8 or 8:30. That's when things get interesting. He nods. That's when Derek arrives. Derek, the wild card. The variable that neither Marcus nor Linda knows exists. You're sure he'll come? I ask. I've been studying their messages. Linda and Derek have a routine. When she texts him certain commands, he obeys, no questions asked. What kind of commands? James shows me the phone, Linda's burner, the one with the green case. She tells him where to go, when to arrive, what position to be in when she gets there. It's like programming, input command, get output. That's disturbing. That's useful. He scrolls to a draft message he's prepared. Thursday afternoon, I'm going to text Derek from Linda's phone. Tell him to come to your house at 8:30. Door will be unlocked. Go upstairs to the master bedroom. Kneel and wait. He'll just do that. He always does. That's the game. I sit back, processing. So Marcus and Linda are in the bedroom. Derek walks in and then we see what happens when a narcissist discovers his mistress has another man. Marcus will lose his mind. That's the hope. The kids shriek with laughter from the playroom. Something crashes, probably the block tower they've been building. I hear Sarah's voice. It's okay, we can build it again. If only it were that simple for the rest of us. What about me? I ask. When do I arrive? 9 o'clock. Derek will have already walked in on them. Whatever's going to happen will have happened. You show up, discover your husband with another woman, and we let nature take its course. And you? I come home at 9:15, find the chaos, play the shocked husband. I run through the timeline in my head. Marcus arrives at 7. Linda follows. They go upstairs around 8. Derek walks in at 8:30. I arrive at 9. James at 9:15. 2 hours. In 2 hours, everything changes. What if someone gets hurt? I ask. The same question I've asked before, the same fear I can't shake. Linda has the taser, James says. She's been carrying it everywhere. If things get physical, she might use it. She might. On Marcus. On anyone who threatens her. I think about Marcus lying on the floor, convulsing. I think about the shock, the pain, the humiliation. I should feel guilty. I should feel horrified. I don't. There's one more thing, James says. After everything goes down, we need to be at the same place, together, with an alibi. Your house. My house. You come over with the kids, we wait for news. When the police show up, and they will show up, we're just two single parents having an innocent evening together. Innocent. I almost laugh. Right, Elena. He moves to the love seat, sits beside me, closer than usual. I know this is hard, I know it feels wrong, but think about what they've done, think about what they're planning to do. I know. They want to take everything from us, our homes, our money, our children. His voice cracks on that last word. I can't let that happen, I won't let that happen. Neither will I. We sit in silence. The kids' voices drift in from the playroom, happy sounds, innocent sounds, the sounds of children who have no idea their lives are about to transform. James, I say finally, after this is over, after the dust settles, what happens to us? He looks at me, really looks at me the way Marcus hasn't in months, maybe years. I don't know, he admits, but I'd like to find out. Me too. He stands, offers his hand. I take it. He pulls me to my feet and suddenly we're close, so close I can see the gold flecks in his brown eyes, smell the coffee on his breath, feel the warmth radiating from his body. Thank you, he says, for everything. I couldn't do this alone. You're not alone, not anymore. He leans down, kisses my cheek, soft, brief, but something in me ignites. Thursday, he whispers, be careful. You too. He leaves. The house feels emptier without him. 4 days until the trap springs shut. I just hope we're not caught in it too. Thursday, December 19th, D-Day. 6:47 p.m. The house is quiet, too quiet. I've sent Ben and Andrea to Barnett's for an extended playdate. Kathy was happy to help, no questions asked. Marcus left an hour ago, suitcase in hand, lies on his lips. Boston conference, he said. Back tomorrow night. Drive safe, I said. He didn't drive to Boston. I know because I put a tracker on his car 3 days ago. Right now, he's parked 2 blocks away, waiting for the coast to clear. I grab my purse, my keys, my phone. I'm supposed to be going to a book signing, the excuse I gave Marcus for why I wouldn't be home. Instead, I'm going to James's house. I'm going to wait, and then I'm going to watch it all burn. 7:12 p.m. MARCUSS POV. The key turns smoothly in the lock. Elena's spare key, the one she thinks she lost months ago, the one I found in her desk drawer and never mentioned. The house is dark, empty. Perfect. I flip on a light, pour myself a scotch from Elena's bar and settle onto the couch to wait. Linda should be here any minute. We've been planning this for weeks. A whole night together, no interruptions, no rushing to get home before our spouses notice. My phone buzzes. Linda, on my way, 10 minutes. I text back, doors open, I'll be waiting. 10 minutes. And then we'll have the whole night. God, I've been waiting for this. 7:23 p.m. LINDAS POV. I pull into the ward's driveway, heart racing. This is it. A whole night with Marcus. No sneaking around, no watching the clock, no pretending we're something we're not. After tonight, we start planning for real. The divorces, the custody arrangements, our new life together. James thinks I'm at a work retreat. Elena thinks Marcus is in Boston. Everyone thinks exactly what we want them to think. I check my purse. Taser's there, just in case. You never know when you might need protection. The front door opens before I can knock. Marcus stands there, drink in hand, smile on his face. Hey, beautiful. Hey, yourself. He pulls me inside, kicks the door shut, and kisses me like we're the only 2 people in the world. For the next few hours, we will be. 8:15 p.m. James SPOV. I'm in my car, parked outside Yale's School of Management. Class started 45 minutes ago. I've been sitting here, waiting, watching the clock. Time to move. I pull out Linda's green phone, lifted from her purse this morning while she was in the shower. She hasn't noticed it's missing. She never notices anything. I compose the text to Derek. Tonight, 8:30, Ward Residence, 847 Maple Lane, door unlocked, master bedroom, kneel and wait, confirm. Send. 3 dots appear almost immediately. Yes, mistress, I'll be there. Perfect. I delete both messages, wipe the phone, and toss it in my glove compartment. Then I start the car and head toward Westbrook, toward home, toward the end. 8:28 p.m. DERE case POV. The house is huge, way bigger than my apartment. Way bigger than anywhere Linda usually summons me, but she's the boss. She says jump, I ask how high. That's how it works. That's how I like it. The front door is unlocked, just like she said. I slip inside, close it quietly behind me. The house is dim, a few lights on downstairs, nothing upstairs. Master bedroom, she said, kneel and wait. I climb the stairs, heart pounding. This is new territory. Usually we meet at hotels, at my place, at that one parking garage she likes. Never at a house like this. Maybe she's finally leaving her husband. Maybe tonight's the night everything changes. I find the master bedroom. The door is closed. I can hear. Sounds, movement, voices, wait, voices. I push the door open. And freeze. 8:29 p.m. The bedroom. Linda sees him first. She's on top of Marcus, both of them half undressed, wine glasses on the nightstand, candles flickering around the room. It's supposed to be romantic. It's supposed to be perfect. It's supposed to be private. What the DREK? Her scream shatters the moment. Marcus bolts upright, nearly throwing her off the bed. Who the hell is this? Marcus shouts. Derek stands in the doorway, mouth hanging open. Linda, what? Who is? Get out. Linda scrambles for the sheets, trying to cover herself. What are you doing here? You texted me, you said. I didn't text you anything. Marcus is on his feet now, grabbing his pants, his face red with rage. Linda, who is this person? Why does he know your name? Answer me. Derek's confusion is turning to anger. I'm her. We're. He looks at Linda, at Marcus, back at Linda. You're cheating on me? Cheating on you. Marcus laughs, a harsh, ugly sound. She's married, you idiot. She's cheating on her husband. I know she's married. I thought I was the only. The only what? The room explodes, everyone shouting over everyone else. Derek demanding answers, Marcus demanding explanations. Linda demanding they both shut up and let her think. No one's thinking, that's the problem. Linda reaches for the nightstand. Her purse, the taser. Everyone stop. She points the weapon at Derek. You need to leave now. Linda, put that down. Marcus reaches for her. She spins. The taser's now pointed at him. Don't touch me. I'm not the one who. Both of you just shut up and let me. Derek moves toward the door. Marcus moves toward Linda. Linda's hand is shaking. Too much wine, too much adrenaline, too much everything. The taser goes off. The prongs hit Marcus square in the chest. He goes down hard, body convulsing, a strangled scream tearing from his throat. Derek turns and runs, footsteps pounding down the stairs, the front door slamming, a car engine starting in the distance. Linda stands frozen, taser still in her hand, watching her lover twitch and jerk on her rival's bedroom floor. Marcus, Marcus. He doesn't answer. 9:02 p.m. ELENAS POV. I pull into my driveway and know immediately something's wrong. The lights are on. Marcus's car isn't here, probably hidden somewhere, but there's another car in the street. A BMW, Linda's BMW. I walk to the front door. It's unlocked. I push it open. Hello? Silence, then a crash from upstairs, a scream. I take the stairs 2 at a time. The master bedroom door is open. What I see inside will stay with me forever. Marcus on the floor, not moving. Linda crouched over him, sobbing, holding something that looks like a gun but isn't. The room smells like sweat and wine and something burnt. Ozone, maybe. Fear. What the hell is going on? Linda looks up. Her mascara is running down her cheeks. She looks like a horror movie villain. She looks like exactly what she is. Who are you? She gasps. I'm Alina Ward. This is my house. That's my husband. I point at Marcus, still twitching on the floor. And you must be the woman he's been sleeping with. It was an accident. What was an accident? Tasing my husband or sleeping with him? Marcus groans. He's conscious, barely. His eyes find mine, and for a moment, just a moment, I see real fear. Good. Alina, he croaks. I can explain. Save it. I pull out my phone, dial. 911, what's your emergency? Yes, I'd like to report an assault. A woman just tased my husband. We need an ambulance and police. Linda's eyes go wide. Wait, you can't. Watch me. 9:17 p.m., James S. POV. I pull up to the ward house and see the chaos unfolding exactly as planned. Police cars in the driveway, an ambulance, neighbors gathering on the sidewalk, phones out, recording everything because that's what people do now. I park and walk toward the house wearing my best concerned citizen expression. "What's going on? I saw the lights." A cop holds up his hand. "Sir, do you live here?" "No, but my wife does. I mean, she's here. We're separated. I came to pick up." I trail off, looking past him into the house. "Is that Linda?" Linda's being led out in handcuffs. Her dress is torn. Her makeup is ruined. She looks up, sees me, and her expression shifts from shock to fury. "You," she snarls. "You did this, you and that woman." "Ma'am, please," the cop tries to guide her toward the car. "They set USUP, James and Alina, they planned this." I blink, bewildered. "I have no idea what she's talking about. I was at class, I just got here." "He's lying. Check his phone, check her phone." "They've been—" "Ma'am, you have the right to remain silent." They put her in the back of the police car. She's still screaming accusations through the window, but no one's listening. No one believes her. Why would they? She's the one who tased a man. She's the one caught cheating. She's the crazy wife who attacked her lover. I'm just the confused husband who showed up at the wrong time. Alina appears in the doorway. Our eyes meet. The tiniest smile crosses her face. It's over, or rather, it's just beginning. 11:47 p.m. The police have questions. Of course they have questions. We spend hours at Alina's kitchen table answering them. Detectives Collins and Gray, serious-faced, suspicious, looking for holes in our story. They don't find any. "So you had no idea your wife was having an affair with Mr. Ward?" "No idea," I say. "I knew our marriage was troubled, but this," I shake my head, "I never imagined." "And you, Mrs. Ward, you weren't aware your husband was seeing Mrs. Monroe?" "I suspected something," Alina admits. "But I didn't know who. I certainly didn't expect to find them in my bedroom." "Why were you at the house tonight?" "I came home early. The event I was supposed to attend was canceled." More questions, more answers, more carefully constructed truths that are technically accurate but fundamentally misleading. We never conspired to commit a crime. We never told anyone to hurt anyone else. We simply created conditions. And the people in those conditions made their own choices. Finally, around midnight, the detectives leave. Marcus is at the hospital. The taser caused some nerve damage, they say. Something about the electrical current and his lower anatomy. There might be permanent consequences. I can't bring myself to feel sorry for him. Linda's in custody. Assault charges pending. Her career is over. Her reputation is destroyed. Her dreams of marrying Marcus and taking half of my money are gone. All because she couldn't stop cheating, because she couldn't be satisfied with what she had. Once a cheater, always a cheater. James and I stand on Alina's porch, watching the last police car pull away. The neighborhood is quiet again. The December air is cold and clean. "It's done," he says. "Is it?" "The hard part is," he turns to look at me. "Now comes the rebuilding. What does that look like?" "I don't know," he takes my hand. "But I'd like to find out together." I squeeze his fingers. "Together." Behind us, through the window, I can see the three kids asleep on the couch, Sarah and Ben and Andrea curled up like puppies, oblivious to the earthquake that just reshaped their world. They're going to be okay. We're going to make sure of it. James and I together. It's not the ending I expected, but maybe, just maybe, it's the beginning of something better. December 20th, 12:47 a.m. The ward house smells like coffee and exhaustion. Alina made a pot when we got here, something to do with her hands, I think. The kids are upstairs, all three of them piled into Ben's bed like puppies seeking warmth. They don't know what happened tonight. They don't know their lives just changed forever. Lucky them. I'm sitting on Alina's leather couch, watching the steam rise from my untouched mug when the doorbell rings. We both freeze. "Police," Alina whispers. "Probably." She opens the door to two men in cheap suits and tired faces. The shorter one, balding glasses, looks like someone's disappointed accountant, flashes a badge. "Detective Collins, this is Detective Gray. We'd like to ask you both some questions." "Of course," Alina says, stepping aside. "Please come in." They settle into the armchairs across from us. Detective Gray pulls out a notebook. He's younger, sharper looking, with the kind of intense stare that probably works great in interrogation rooms. It's not going to work on us. "Let's start with the basics," Collins says. "How do you two know each other?" "Our children attend the same daycare," Alina answers. "Barnett's on 145th Street. We met through pickup and drop-off." "And how long have you known each other?" A few months. I keep my voice steady, neutral. Our kids became friends, we started arranging playdates. Gray scribbles something. Playdates, right, and that's how you discovered your spouses were having an affair. We suspected, Alina says carefully. There were signs, late nights, strange behavior, unexplained absences. We compared notes and realized the timing matched up. When did you first suspect? Recently, a few weeks ago. And you didn't confront them. We weren't sure. I leaned forward, playing the confused husband perfectly. I mean, would you want to accuse your wife of cheating without proof? What if we were wrong? Collins nods slowly. So tonight, walk me through it. I've rehearsed this in my head 100 times. I had class MBA program at Yale. Evening session Tuesdays and Thursdays. I left around 6, dropped Sarah at extended daycare. And you came home when? Around 9:15. Class ended at 8:30, but I stayed to talk to the professor about a project. Then I drove home and found. I paused, let my voice crack slightly. I found my wife in bed with another man. And a woman I'd never met standing in my bedroom, looking like she'd seen a ghost. That would be you, Mrs. Ward? Alina nods. I came because Marcus wasn't answering his phone. He told me he was at a conference in Boston, but something felt wrong. I drove to the Monroe house to ask James if he'd seen anything strange. Why the Monroe house specifically? Because I suspected. James and I had talked about our concerns. I thought maybe if I confronted Marcus directly at the place where I suspected he was meeting her. She trails off. I didn't expect to find what I found. Gray looks up from his notes. Mrs. Monroe claims you two orchestrated the whole thing, that you deliberately set up the confrontation. That's insane, I say flatly. Is it? She says you've been meeting secretly for weeks, planning. We've been having PLAYDATES with our children present. I let frustration creep into my voice. You think we were plotting some elaborate scheme while finger painting with toddlers? Collins and Gray exchange a look. They're not buying Linda's story. Good. What about this? Gray pulls out an evidence bag. Inside is a phone with a green case. We found this in your wife's belongings. It appears to be a second phone used exclusively for communication with Mr. Ward and someone identified only as D. I don't know anything about that. You never noticed your wife had 2 phones? She has a lot of phones. Work phone, personal phone, I don't keep track. Alina leans forward. Detective, may I ask something? Go ahead. What exactly are we being accused of? Having suspicions about our spouses, meeting to discuss those suspicions, because last I checked, neither of those things is illegal. Collins sighs. You're not being accused of anything, Mrs. Ward. We're just trying to understand what happened tonight. What happened, Alina says coolly, is that my husband was in bed with another man's wife. That wife, for reasons I can't begin to fathom, had a taser in her nightstand. A third party, someone identified in those text messages as D, apparently walked in on them. There was a confrontation. Mrs. Monroe panicked and discharged her weapon. My husband was injured. You seem very calm about all this. I've had time to process. The drive from Boston, where Marcus CLAIMED to be, to Westbrook is about 2 hours. That's a lot of time to think. Gray taps his pen against his notebook. There's something that doesn't add up. This third party, Derek Hayes, he claims he received a text message summoning him to the Monroe residence tonight, from Mrs. Monroe's phone. My heart rate doesn't change, my expression doesn't shift, and Mrs. Monroe says she didn't send that text. Maybe she forgot. People do that when they're juggling multiple affairs. Or maybe someone else sent it, someone with access to her phone. I meet Gray's stare without flinching. Are you suggesting I somehow got my wife's secret phone, a phone I didn't know existed, and used it to text her other boyfriend? To what end? So I could come home and find 3 people in my bedroom instead of 2? Gray doesn't answer. Collins stands. We're going to need to talk to both of you separately, standard procedure. Fine, I say, but I want to call a lawyer first. 2:17 a.m. I'm in Alina's home office, phone pressed to my ear, waiting for Liz Hanson to pick up. She answers on the 4th ring, voice thick with sleep. This better be good, James. It's happening, everything we discussed. The police are here. A pause, then sharper. Are you being charged with anything? Not yet, they're fishing. Don't say anything else until I get there, not one word. Already planned on it. 3:45 a.m. Liz Hanson is a force of nature. 5'2", silver hair, glasses that make her look like a librarian. But the second she walks into a room, everyone knows who's in charge. She's been grilling the detectives for the past hour. I've never seen two grown men look so uncomfortable. Let me make sure I understand, Liz says, her voice dripping with false sweetness. You're suggesting my clients, two people whose spouses were actively betraying them, somehow conspired to, what exactly make their spouses cheat, force Mrs. Monroe to taser Mr. Ward? We're not suggesting anything, Collins mutters. We're investigating. Investigating what crime? Adultery isn't illegal in Connecticut. Neither is being in the wrong place at the wrong time. Neither is, she checks her notes, attending your children's playdates. Gray tries a different angle. The text message to Derek Hayes was sent from Mrs. Monroe's phone, a phone that has been in Mrs. Monroe's possession. Are you suggesting my client somehow stole this phone, sent a message, and returned it without anyone noticing? While he was in class at Yale, I might add, with dozens of witnesses. We haven't verified his alibi yet. Then verify it, call the professor, check the sign-in sheets. Do your job, detective, instead of harassing innocent people in the middle of the night. Collins rubs his temples. Mrs. Ward, your husband claims you've been threatening him. Alina looks genuinely confused. Threatening him how? He says you've been writing a book about a husband who murders his cheating wife, that you deliberately left pages where he could find them, that you've been making ominous comments about violence and revenge. Alina laughs, actually laughs. Detective, I'm a novelist. I write fiction. My last 3 books have involved murders, heists, and international espionage. That's my job. So you deny? I deny nothing. Yes, I'm writing a book about a jealous husband. Yes, Marcus has read parts of it. He's my husband, or was my husband. He reads all my work. She shakes her head. If writing about murder made people murderers, Stephen King would be on death row. Gray's pen has stopped moving. Collins looks like he wants to be anywhere else. One more question, Liz says. Has Mr. Ward been interviewed? He's at Hartford General. The taser caused some complications. What kind of complications? Collins shifts uncomfortably. That's confidential medical information. But he has been interviewed? Briefly, he's corroborating Mrs. Monroe's story. Of course he is. They're having an affair. They have every reason to shift blame. Liz stands, gathering her things. Detectives, unless you're planning to arrest my clients, which you have no grounds to do, I suggest we end this conversation. It's nearly 4 a.m. These people have children to care for. Collins and Gray exchange one final look. Then Collins sighs. We'll be in touch if we have more questions. I'm sure you will. I look forward to explaining again how none of my clients have committed any crimes. The door closes behind them. The silence that follows is deafening. Alina slumps against the wall. Is it over? For now, Liz says. They don't have anything. Linda's word against yours, and Linda's the one who used a weapon. They'll focus on the assault charge and let the rest go. What about Marcus? What about him? He was literally caught with his pants down. No jury in America is going to believe he's a victim of anything except his own bad decisions. I look at Alina. She looks at me. And despite everything, the exhaustion, the fear, the uncertainty, we both start to smile. It's really over, I say. Liz shakes her head. The criminal part is over. The divorce part is just beginning. Get some sleep. You're going to need it. She leaves. The house is quiet again. Through the window, the first hint of dawn is creeping over the horizon. Alina comes to sit beside me on the couch. Her shoulder brushes mine. Her hand finds my hand. We did it, she whispers. We did. No regrets. I think about Linda, about all the lies, all the betrayals, all the years I spent believing I was the problem. Not one. We sit there, watching the sun rise, neither of us willing to break the moment. It's not an ending, it's not even really a beginning, but it's something. And right now, something is enough. 1 month later. January 23rd. Alina's house has become our house. Not officially, not on paper, but in all the ways that matter. The kids adjusted faster than I expected. Sarah took to Ben and Andrea like she'd known them her whole life. Within a week, they were fighting over toys and making up 5 minutes later the way siblings do. Within 2 weeks, they were refusing to sleep in separate rooms. I took the guest bedroom down the hall. Alina has the master. We're not together, not like that, not yet, but we share meals, we share childcare, we share late-night conversations over wine when the kids are asleep. We share a life, slowly, carefully, like 2 people learning to trust again. Today, though, we're not sharing wine, we're sharing a lawyer's office. Let's start with the good news, Liz Hanson says, spreading papers across her desk. Linda's criminal case is moving forward. Assault with a dangerous weapon. The DA's recommending 1-year suspended sentence given it's her first offense and the circumstances were unusual. 1 year, I leaned forward. She tased a man she was sleeping with in a situation that could be argued as self-defense. The third party, Derek Hayes, entered the home without permission. Linda can claim she felt threatened. That's garbage and you know it. It's the law, James. The good news is she's pleading guilty. No trial, no need for you or Alina to testify. It'll be over by March. Alina shifts in her chair. What about the divorce? Liz smiles. It's not a pleasant smile. That's where it gets interesting. The divorce papers arrived 3 weeks ago. Both of them, mine and Alina's, filed on the same day by the same lawyer. Linda and Marcus, it turns out, have been coordinating. Even now, even after everything, they're still a team, still trying to come out ahead. They want custody. They want assets. They want US to be the villains of this story. They're not going to get any of it. Linda's position is weak, Liz explains. She was the higher earner, so she can't claim financial hardship. She was convicted of assault, which destroys any argument that she's the more stable parent. And the affair, well, there's a paper trail a mile long. What about the house? You keep it. Sarah needs stability, and you've been her primary caregiver for years. The court will prioritize that. Alimony. She'll be paying you, James, not the other way around. I sit back, let that sink in. For years I felt trapped, dependent, unable to leave because I had no money, no career, no leverage. Now Linda's going to be writing ME checks. Funny how things work out. What about Marcus? Alina asks. Liz's smile fades. Marcus is complicated. Here's what happened to Marcus Ward. The taser hit him in the chest. Usually that's not a big deal. Temporary pain, muscle contractions, then recovery. But Marcus was in a compromising position when the prongs connected. The electrical current traveled through his body in ways the manufacturer never intended. The doctors call it neurological trauma to the lower extremities. In plain English, Marcus Ward will never get an erection again. He's 38 years old. He spent his marriage chasing other women, proving his virility, feeding his ego, and now he'll spend the rest of his life unable to perform the one act that defined his self-worth. I should feel sorry for him. I don't. He's suing Linda, Liz continues. Personal injury, emotional distress, the works. It won't go anywhere. Linda's broke and unemployed, but it'll tie them both up in litigation for years. What about the divorce? He's fighting for assets, claims he's entitled to half your earnings, Alina, says he supported your career by staying home with the children. Alina laughs bitterly. He stayed home because I was making more money, and he complained about it constantly. I know. We have documentation. His financial claims won't hold up. Liz pauses. There's one more thing. He's not fighting for custody. What? He doesn't want the kids, full stop, said it explicitly in his deposition. Alina's face goes pale, not from surprise, from hurt. Even now, even knowing what Marcus is, some part of her hoped he'd at least pretend to care about their children. Piece of work, I mutter. The good news, Liz says gently, is that this makes everything simpler. Full custody to Alina, limited visitation rights for Marcus, supervised if you want. The children stay with their mother. Alina nods slowly. Okay, yes, that's what matters. That night after the kids are in bed, Alina and I sit in her living room with a bottle of red wine and the wreckage of our former lives spread out before us. She called me today, Alina says quietly. Who? Linda. I set down my glass. What did she want? To apologize or to justify herself or both? I don't know. She was crying. Did you talk to her? For about 30 seconds. She kept saying it wasn't supposed to happen like this, that she and Marcus had a plan, that they were going to do it right, divorces first, then a new life together. Alina shakes her head. Like there's a right way to destroy someone's family. What did you say? I said I hoped she found what she was looking for, then I hung up. We sit in silence. The wine is good, some expensive bottle Marcus bought years ago and never opened. Alina found it in the basement last week. We decided it would be poetic to drink it now. James, Alina's voice is soft. Yeah, where do you see this going us? This arrangement. I look at her, really look at her. The woman who found me in a parking lot and offered me an alliance. The woman who helped me take back my life. The woman I think about every night before I fall asleep. I don't know, I admit, but I know I don't want it to end. She sets down her glass, moves closer. Me neither. We don't kiss, not yet. but our hands find each other in the dark, and we stay that way until the wine is gone and the night is quiet and the future feels, for once, like something worth waiting for. 6 months later, June 15th. Summer in Connecticut is a different animal than winter. Everything is green and alive and impossibly loud, birds singing, kids screaming, lawnmowers droning in the distance. The air smells like fresh-cut grass and sunscreen and possibility. I'm in the kitchen making pancakes when Sarah drops her bombshell. "Daddy, why don't you marry Alina?" I nearly flip a pancake onto the ceiling. "What? Ben says if you and Alina get married, we'll be real brothers and sisters. Is that true?" Where did Ben hear that? Andrea told him. She saw it on TV. Of course she did. Of course a 5-year-old is getting relationship advice from television. This is my life now. It's complicated, sweetheart. Why? Because. I search for words that a 4-year-old might understand. Find none. Because grown-up feelings are confusing sometimes. Do you love Alina? The question hits me like a truck. Because the answer is so obvious, so undeniable that I don't know why I've been pretending otherwise. Yes, I say quietly, I do. Then why don't you just tell her? Out of the mouths of babes, that night after the kids are asleep, I find Alina in her office. She's staring at her computer screen, not typing, just staring. She does that sometimes, gets lost in her own head. Hey. She looks up, smiles. Hey yourself. Can we talk? That sounds ominous. It's not, I hope. I sit in the chair across from her desk, the same chair where we planned the downfall of our ex-spouses, the same chair where we became allies, friends, something more. Sarah asked me something today, I say. She asked why I haven't married you. Alina's breath catches. What did you tell her? The truth, that grown-up feelings are complicated. Are they? I don't know anymore. I lean forward. Alina, we've been living together for 6 months. We share meals, we share childcare, we share everything except what matters most. Yeah, she stands, walks around the desk, sits in the chair beside mine. I've been thinking, she says slowly, about what we've built here. This family we've created out of wreckage and revenge. It shouldn't work. By all logic, we should be trauma-bonded disaster cases who can barely function. But instead, I wake up every morning actually happy, for the first time in years, maybe ever. She looks at me, and I think a big part of that is you. Alina, let me finish. When Marcus was cheating on me, I felt invisible. Like I didn't matter, like I was just this background character in my own life. Her voice cracks slightly. You never made me feel that way. From the first day we met, you saw me, the real me, not the author, not the money, not the scandal, just me. I know exactly what you mean. Do you? Linda looked at me and saw a failure, a stepping stone. Something to use until she found something better. I reach for Alina's hand. You look at me and I feel like I matter, like I'm worth something. You are worth something, James. You're worth everything. The space between us shrinks. Inches become centimeters, centimeters become nothing at all, and then we're kissing. It's not dramatic. No fireworks, no swelling music, no perfect cinematic moment. It's soft and careful and uncertain. Two people who have been hurt before, learning to trust again. But it's real. And right now, real is exactly what I need. Later, much later, we're lying in her bed, our bed now, I suppose, watching the shadows move across the ceiling. The house is quiet. The kids are asleep. The world outside doesn't exist. That was, Alina trails off. Yeah, I didn't expect. Me neither. She rolls onto her side, looks at me. No regrets, not one, you. Only that we waited so long. I laugh, pull her closer. We were busy, divorces, custody battles, learning how to be parents to children who aren't technically ours. True. She traces patterns on my chest with her finger. James, what do we tell the kids? The truth, I guess, that we love each other, that we're going to be a real family now. They'll be happy. They've been pushing for this since day one. Sarah literally asked me to propose. Alina laughs. Ben told Andrea last week that he hoped we'd stop being weird and just get together already. Smart kid. He gets it from his mother. Morning comes too soon. The sun streams through the curtains, warm and golden, and for the first time in years, I don't want to get out of bed. But there are children in this house, and children don't believe in sleeping in. Daddy, Elena, we're hungry. Alina groans into her pillow. Your turn. They're your children. Sarah's yours. Fine. I'll make breakfast, but you're explaining to them why Daddy's room was empty last night. She throws a pillow at me. I'm halfway through a batch of scrambled eggs when Sarah appears in the kitchen doorway. She's still in her pajamas, hair wild from sleep, the most adorable disaster I've ever created. "Daddy, did you sleep with Alina?" I freeze. Behind me, I hear Alina choke on her coffee. We... Ben and Andrea appear behind Sarah, drawn by the commotion, three pairs of eyes staring at us, waiting for an answer. Alina sets down her mug, walks over, takes my hand. "Yes," she says simply. "Daddy and I are together now like a real family." Sarah's face lights up. "Does that mean you're getting married?" "We're taking things one step at a time." "But eventually you'll get married, and then we'll be real brothers and sisters." Ben jumps up and down. "Yes, I knew it, Andrea, I told you." Andrea, at 2.5, has no idea what's happening, but everyone else is excited, so she joins in. "Yeah, married." Alina looks at me, I look at her. "Well," she says, "I guess we know what the kids want." "Apparently." "Thoughts?" I squeeze her hand. "I think we started this story in the middle, chapter 6 maybe, but that doesn't mean we can't write a happy ending." She smiles, leans up, kisses me softly while our children cheer. "I'm a writer," she whispers against my lips. "Happy endings are my specialty." 10 years later, the kitchen smells like birthday cake and chaos. Jonathan, our youngest, our only biological child together, is turning 5 today. The house is full of streamers and balloons and the kind of organized pandemonium that only children can create. I'm standing at the counter, frosting a 3-layer chocolate monster when Sarah wanders in. Sarah Monroe Ward, 13 years old. Beautiful and brilliant and too much like her mother in some ways, too much like me in others. She's got Alina's sharpness and my sarcasm, which is a dangerous combination. "Dad, can I ask you something?" "Shoot." "Why is Ben only 3 months older than me?" I almost dropped the spatula. "Where did that come from?" We were talking at school. Everyone was saying how their siblings are like 2 years apart, 4 years apart. And I was like, my brother's 3 months older than me. She frowns. "That's weird, right? Like biologically impossible." From the doorway, Ben's voice. "I've been wondering the same thing." I turn. Ben's standing there with Andrea, both of them wearing matching expressions of teenage curiosity. Behind them, Alina appears, Jonathan in her arms. "I think," Alina says quietly, "it's time we had a family talk." We gather in the living room, the 5 of us, no, the 6 of us, including Jonathan, even though he's too young to understand. This is our family, the family we built from wreckage and revenge and eventually love. "This is going to be a lot," I warn them. "And some of it isn't pretty." "We can handle it," Sarah says. "We're not babies." "I know, but still." Alina takes over. She's better at this than I am, telling stories, explaining complicated things in ways that make sense. "You all know that Dad and I weren't always together," she begins, "that we were married to other people before. Mom Linda," Sarah says quietly, "Dad Marcus." "Right. What you don't know is how we met and why those marriages ended." She tells them everything, the affairs, the discovery, the alliance we formed to take back our lives, the night everything fell apart. She leaves out the manipulation, the text messages, the trap we set. Some things are too complicated for 13-year-olds, maybe for anyone. What she focuses on is the truth at the heart of it, 2 people betrayed and broken who found each other in the wreckage and built something beautiful. When she's done, the room is silent. Then Sarah speaks. Her voice is small, uncertain. "So, Mom Linda she didn't want me?" My heart breaks. Even now, even after all these years, Linda's shadow still falls on our family. "Linda gave birth to you," I say carefully. "And I believe in her own way she loved you, but she made choices that hurt people, choices that meant she couldn't be in your life." "Where is she now?" "I don't know. She moved away after everything happened. I haven't heard from her since." Sarah nods slowly, processes. Then she stands, walks over to Alina and wraps her arms around her. "You're my mom," she whispers, "the only one that matters." Alina's eyes fill with tears. She holds Sarah tight, stroking her hair, whispering words I can't hear. Ben clears his throat. "For the record, I don't care about any of it. You guys are my parents. This is my family. The rest is just history." "Me too," Andrea adds. "I barely remember Dad Marcus anyway." Jonathan, oblivious to the emotional weight of the moment, tugs on my sleeve. "Daddy, can we have cake now?" The tension breaks. Everyone laughs, the kind of laughter that's half relief, half genuine joy. "Yeah, buddy," I say, ruffling his hair. "We can have cake." That night, after the party's over and the kids are in bed, Alina and I sit on the back porch watching the stars. "Do you think we did the right thing?" she asks. "Telling them? They deserved to know. They would have found out eventually." I know, but still, seeing Sarah's face when she asked about Linda. She's strong, they all are. I take her hand. We raised them well. We raised them, you and me, together. From chapter 6. She laughs softly. I still can't believe I used that for the book title. Alina's memoir came out 3 years ago. Chapter 6, a story of betrayal, revenge, and second chances. New York Times bestseller for 16 weeks. Oprah's book club selection. There's talk of a movie. The book tells our story, sanitized, of course, with names changed and details altered. But the heart of it is true. Two people who started their love story in the middle and wrote their way to a happy ending. Do you regret any of it? Alina asks. I think about the question, really think about it. Do I regret discovering Linda's affairs? No. Do I regret finding Alina? Absolutely not. Do I regret the plan we made, the trap we set, the way we let our ex-spouses destroy themselves? They chose their actions, I say finally. We just created the conditions. They could have walked away at any point. They could have been honest, been faithful, been decent human beings. They chose not to. So no regrets. Only one. What? That I didn't find you sooner. She leans her head on my shoulder. The night is warm and quiet and perfect. Once a cheater, always a cheater, she murmurs. You said that to me once, the first day we met. I remember. Do you still believe it? For Linda and Marcus, yes, absolutely. I kiss the top of her head. But for us, I think the opposite is true. What's the opposite? Once a lover, always a lover. She looks up at me, smiles. That's cheesy. It's true. It's both. We sit there for a long time, watching the stars wheel overhead, listening to the crickets sing, feeling the weight of all those years behind us and all those years ahead. We started our story in the middle, chapter 6 of a life that was already in progress. But that doesn't make it any less real, any less meaningful, any less ours. Some stories begin at the beginning, some begin at the end. Ours began with betrayal and ended with love. And honestly, I wouldn't have it any other way.